patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, full numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan. Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause you know we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation contained. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue of Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause you know this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish-based laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used the literal dog whistle to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler, you ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like Scolary, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
Proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us flow. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk comes to left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left. That's right.
And welcome to a special Saturday episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. You can join us in the chat rooms either at liberaldanradio.com or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. Either way will get you there. Not sure if we're going to do a phone segment today or not. Probably not, because I got a bunch of stuff to go over because, you know, I was sitting there laying in bed last night, got home a little late after playing some games, and all of a sudden, here comes the fact that we've just invaded Venezuela! You know, the no nation building commander-in-chief who did not want to get involved in foreign entanglements. He has now proven himself to be a hypocrite yet again. The 2025 Hypocrite of the Year is starting off strong, and while we're not doing a Hypocrite of the Week this week, you very well will know who will be the Hypocrite of the Week next week, and it'll be Donald John Trump yet again, spoiler alert, because he is quite yet, you know, amazingly trying to outdo all of his hypocrisy from last year and already starting off 3 days into this new year. So, but thank you everybody for joining us on this special day. I did make sure to post to all the social media channels that I have, either Liberal Dan Radio posted it to Liberal Dan Radio on Threads, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and on Facebook. So if you're not following me in any of those places, let me know, or not, don't let me know. Go ahead and follow those places so you can be sure to know when Liberal Dan Radio is coming on with a special episode. Of course, another thing you can do is make sure when you hit that subscribe button to also hit the notification button to make sure that you get notified every single time that we go live here so you don't miss a minute. Or you can always, if you're not busy, if you're not free at the time, you can always watch the next show or watch the replay of the show, or you could just watch the clips that are formed from the show as well. Thank you for joining us, or Villaby, over in the Twitch chat. We've got Jackie, Rick, Christine, one half of the Best Mod Squad, Jolie, Molly, it's a joy to see you. Who else did I miss? I don't think I missed anybody. I think that's all we got right now. Did want to make sure to give all those shouts out already. We'll say hello to more people as they come in. I do want to also thank everybody for who I did see some increased comments on some of my videos. That's helping the algorithm, and Al Gore obviously needs more rhythm. And if you want the Al Gore rhythm shirt, you can just go to store.liberaldanradio.com and you can get that, the algorithm shirt, the FDT shirt, or the Man of La MAGA shirt with Donald Trump fighting the windmills, because, you know, he hates windmills and he is the modern day Don Quixote, as we sing in the hoax song.
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
There you go. So that's why we had to make that shirt, because Donald Trump canceled those wind farms and lots of people got rich betting against those companies that Donald Trump. I wonder how many people in Donald Trump's own inner circle got wealthy over him canceling those wind farm projects, or at least putting him on hold indefinitely, as they say. So, hey, Jeff from just north of Uranus, good to see you. But yes, obviously, we're not talking about the windmills today. We're not talking about all that stuff. The reason we're coming on the show and talking today is because, you know, had Joe Biden decided to go in and start nation building, Donald Trump and MAGA would be bitching, whining, complaining, and moaning about all the nation building that's going on. But, you know, because Donald Trump does it, it's magically okay.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
And if you want to find all the Liberal Dan Radio songs, they are here on YouTube if you want to share them, but they're also available on Spotify. I would love to see Had Biden Done It go viral on Spotify, and that's only going to happen if everybody shares the video around and say, hey, check out this song from Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right. Anyway, so, but again, we're more here to talk about just trying to give some people some more time to trickle in to realize that we're live on this special day, on this, you know, another day where Donald Trump again proves his hypocrisy. And we're going to be going over his press conference that he gave earlier today in a bit. But it's important to be able to, you know, look, I guess first and foremost, the one thing we should say, first and foremost, is Maduro is a piece of shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here mourning or complaining of the fact that Maduro might be punished for what he does. What I am going to complain about is the hypocrisy. What I am going to complain about is what happened last night and how they went about going around what they were doing. What I will complain about is the fact that, you know, what if this were happening in any other country? What if another country signed an arrest warrant for Donald John Trump? And could they then come into this country and then arrest him? Or arrest him if he was, you know, out in some other country? I mean, there are plenty of countries that have Benjamin Netanyahu as somebody who has they have a warrant out for his arrest, and they're not going to go after him, right? They're not going to go into Israel and go nab him, right? They're not going to do that. But maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a reason why they don't do it to us, or they wouldn't do it to Netanyahu's, because, you know, both those countries have nukes, and they don't want to risking a nuclear confrontation over somebody, you know, kidnapping their president. Venezuela, not as much as a threat there, right? So, I mean, if somebody wants to correct me and say that they're a global nuclear power too, but I'm not aware of them being a global nuclear power. They were struggling under Maduro. They're doing terribly under Maduro. Of course, they're going to do worse now under us because, you know, we already have the dystopian hellscape here in these United States of America. So that's what Donald Trump is bringing to Venezuela as well. So what was a problem is going to be made even worse, most likely. But we're going to go over that and his press conference and all the things that he said. But I think it's very important, first and foremost, to talk about, let's go over Donald Trump's old America First policies and his old America First ideas of, let's make sure that we do things in the proper and right way. So this is, I believe, right after his inauguration. Or maybe this is 9 years. This is actually during the previous campaign. That's right. Let's play this clip and see what old Donnie Boy had to say about nation building and such back in this video.
After the Cold War, our foreign policy veered badly off course. Logic was replaced with foolishness and arrogance, which led to one foreign policy disaster after another. It all began with the dangerous idea that we could make Western democracies out of countries that had no experience or interest in becoming a Western democracy. Our foreign policy is a complete and total disaster.
So basically, in other words, what Donald Trump is saying is that we shouldn't be nation building. We shouldn't be trying to force countries who don't want to have our type of government to have our type of government. So there's that. Then here's a clip from 2017 with Donald Trump giving a little bit more of some commentary on, this time, I think, Afghanistan. Let's listen to what he had to say back then, shall we?
Ultimately, it is up to the people of Afghanistan to take ownership of their future, to govern their society, and to achieve an everlasting peace. We are a partner and a friend, but we will not dictate to the Afghan people how to live or how to govern their own complex society. We are not nation building again. We are.
What was that you just said?
We are not nation building again.
Repeat that one more time for me, old Donnie boy, because I didn't quite hear it very well enough. Because it sounded to me like you said that we're not nation building again. That you're opposed to nation building. Let's hear that one more time.
We are not nation building again.
Oh, so what is it that we're doing here? What is it that we're doing here in Venezuela if we're not nation building?
Killing terrorists. The next pillar
We're killing terrorists too, right?
of our new strategy is to change the approach and how to deal with Pakistan. We can no longer be silent about Pakistan's safe havens for terrorist organizations, the Taliban, and other groups that pose a threat to the region and beyond. Pakistan has much to gain from partnering with
Has much to gain, is that what he said?
our effort in Afghanistan. It has much to lose by continuing to harbor criminals and terrorists. Pakistan has also sheltered the same organization.
But again, the point was we're not nation building in Afghanistan. We are no longer going to nation build. Not one bit. We are not going to nation build. That was Donald Trump's statement. Of course, Donald Trump also said he was going to go after the worst of the worst, the bad hombres, when it came to his immigration policies. We all know how that turned out, right? Of course, we knew how that was going to turn out if we paid attention during his last term, because he also did the same thing during his last term. His recent inauguration, the first one in last year, Donald Trump told his supporters, we'll measure our success by not only the battles we win, but also the wars that we end, and perhaps more importantly, by the wars we never get into. And that sounds like a reasonable comment, but if it was made by a reasonable person who could be trusted to, be honest with the American people and what his plans are. But in reality, it's not. But again, since then, according to the Reuters article that this is quoted from, Trump bombed targets in Syria, Iraq, Iran, Nigeria, Yemen, and Somalia, blew up dozens of alleged drug boats in the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean, and made veiled threats to both invade Greenland and Panama, and now has invaded Venezuela. And of course, according to this Reuters article, his attack on Venezuela was the most aggressive foreign policy military action yet, striking the capital of Caracas and other parts of the country and capturing President Nicolás Maduro and his wife. So again, facing drug trafficking charges. It's funny that Donald Trump just 5 weeks ago pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who had been convicted of drug trafficking charges. So he pardoned a drug trafficker, but now he's going after another one? What? Make it make sense to me. Just make this make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, it makes sense if you know that Donald Trump is a liar, a hypocrite, and a piece of crap. And now, of course, Donald Trump will say that the intervening in Venezuela was part of his America First policy. Of course, he said previously that his America First policy would not include, nation building and other actions of the such. And U.S. Representative, or soon to be no longer U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, basically said that this is not America First. This is what many in MAGA thought they voted to end. Boy, were we wrong, as she says. So, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is still going after old Donnie Boy for failing to keep up to his even MAGA promises. Because obviously we knew that he wasn't going to make America great. Actually, we knew that the America he's talking about when he says make America great again is the Confederate States of America and not the United States of America, because that's what he would like to restore, basically. Let me be clear, says Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Maduro is an illegitimate dictator, but launching military action without congressional authorization, without a federal plan for what comes next, is reckless. And, while I have my disagreements with Chuck Schumer about several things, he is absolutely correct there. Without a plan for what comes next, he doesn't have a plan. He probably has a concept of a plan, and even that is probably not even a concept. Even that is being generous to him. But yeah, he did not want to get us entangled into these foreign entanglements, and now we are currently entangled. Didn't he say the Donroe Doctrine, says Jeff? Yeah, maybe so. The Donroe Doctrine is what Donald Trump is pushing, I suppose. Let's see. Hoosier Scott. Hello, everyone. Did something happen in the world in the last 24 hours? The news has been really slow. Something like that. Something may have happened in the past 24 hours. That's why we have a special episode of Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. Hello, Dawn. Good to see you. Thank you for joining as well. Trump brags about passing cognitive tests. I just wish he could pass a civics test. That's a good comment. Comment of the night so far. But we are going to go over his press conference, and fortunately, the press conference on the White House website was listed, or White House YouTube page is like 1 hour and 46 minutes long. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, did he blather on for that long? Fortunately, he did not, because the actual press conference doesn't start until like 47 minutes in. So we still got a good bit of stuff to go over. And we may skip some depending on who's speaking or not. But it's obviously, you know, we'd like to do response videos here to the idiocies of the Donald Trump administration. So we're going to go ahead and switch on over to the alternate now. Ugh, I'm being looked over by frat boy Pete Hegseth, Pistol Pete Hegseth. So let's go ahead and actually delete this for the second, or at least make it not visible. So you can, if you want to, you get to see old Marco Rubio, who basically is looking there like, oh crap, what did I get myself into now? And Hegseth's looking at the camera like, when can I get my next beer? And of course, Donald Trump, who mocked other people for reading from teleprompters, can't even read without, you know, looking at a script or whatever. So here's Donald Trump and his press conference from earlier today pertaining to the invasion of Venezuela. And look, before we start, if he would have gotten congressional approval and, you know, I would be like, you know what, fine, go after Maduro if Congress approves. But the way that they did it still is problematic, because as what we just said a few minutes ago, he didn't just bomb Caracas, he bombed Caracas in many other areas. He did an attack which killed innocent civilians just to get one guy. Don't you have the CIA? Can't the CIA go in and scoop him up with some, you know, a more stealthy mission that doesn't put the lives of innocent Venezuelans at risk? You know, one might think that that would be a reasonable thing to do, to minimize civilian casualties, but that's not what Donald Trump cares about, because Donald Trump will never care about minimizing civilian casualties, because to him, that's probably a feature and not a bug that is also offing people who speak Spanish. So Tim goes, there I was doing my usual Saturday night marathon rerun watching of Liberal Dan, and wouldn't you know, it's alive. Well, I appreciate knowing that you do Saturday night marathons of Liberal Dan Radio, so awesome for that. I encourage more people to do that. Let's see. Question, what would it take for you to kiss up to him like they do? To kiss up to Trump? What would it take for me to kiss up to Trump? Is that what you're asking? I don't know if there is a possibility of him doing that. Let's see. He would have to resign, promise and pledge to never go, run for any political office again or be involved politically at all, go plead guilty to the crimes that he's done, and also donate all of his wealth to the people who need it, and maybe forgive all the student and EIDL loans as well of the people in this economy, to make sure that people don't have to worry about that. Then maybe I might consider it. I still wouldn't do it probably, but I would at least, it would take him doing all of that, and I guarantee you he would never do any of that, let alone all of that. So if you want to know what it would take for me to kiss up to old Donnie Boy, it would be him doing things that he'll never do. It's a safe bet. I mean, I also said, but way back in the day, back when Edwin Edwards was running for Congress here in Louisiana, that I would leave the Democratic Party and register as no party if the Louisiana Democratic Party endorsed unrepentant convicted felon Edwin Edwards. And lo and behold, that's what they did. And lo and behold, I had to be a man of my word and follow through with what I said I would do. But I have a pretty strong inkling here that Donald Trump would never do all of those things. So I'm pretty safe to say that if he did all these things, then sure, maybe I might consider kissing his ass. But not before all those things happen, and those things are never going to happen. So, anyway, as old Donnie Boy would say,
It is what it is.
thank you, Donald. Anyway, let's go ahead and start listening to this piece of crap and him trying to justify his actions here. Because, it's about the drugs. It's never about the drugs. Just like it's never about legality. It's never really about immigration. It's about bigotry. It's never about the drugs. It's about the oil. Spoiler alert. It's never about what he says it is about. If Donald Trump says that it's about one thing, you can be guaranteed that it's not about that one thing. Unless he's talking about grabbing people by the hoo-ha, then you can pretty much be assured that he absolutely is grabbing people by the hoo-ha and not getting consent for it. Anyway, let's go ahead and start listening to the blowhard in chief, the hypocrite, hypocrite Hitler. Anyway, hey Janelle, good to see you. Anyway, let's go ahead and start this, and we'll see all the bullshit that he says, and we'll respond in kind.
Last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela.
It was so strong. It was the strongest military intervention that anyone's ever seen, stronger than anyone's ever done. I mean, that has to come up at some point. I haven't seen any of this, really. So we're going to have to... this is new to me. I didn't sit down and watch. I mean, there might have been a clip or two that I watched, but for the most part, I haven't seen any of this yet because I wanted to just do a live reaction with my actual response to first hearing what this idiot has to say. But I'll guarantee that if he says, this is the strongest whatever I've ever seen, this is so strong, I'll laugh, but it's because he's predictable. He's a child. He is impressed by the strength of things and not by the morality and the rightness of things.
Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since.
There you go! How long did that take? It's an assault like no one's ever seen. No one's ever seen. I mean, it's so bad that he is so predictable. Christine says he won't disappoint you, and it happened pretty much just as you were saying that. Like, come on. Like, again, this is how a child talks. This is how somebody who is low intelligence, low cunning, this is how someone like that speaks. I mean, he's like no one's ever seen. Like, does anybody just sit there and tell him, you know what? Maybe you should get some new material. Maybe you should just understand that, the people that are listening to you and are making fun of you are making fun of you because you have the same three things that you say all the goddamn time. So Janelle, it's really stupid. I can tell you that, Liberal Dan Radio. It's really stupid. Of course, it's really stupid. We all knew it was going to be really stupid. That wasn't in question. It's just the level of stupidity that is what we're going to be watching right now. But again,
World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolás Maduro to justice.
Nicolás Maduro to justice. Like his lips were very pierced today. It's almost like somebody's trying to be a ventriloquist for him. I don't know.
This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence.
Military might and incompetence? Is that what you said? What?
In American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and
I said, who's your al-Baghdadi? That's what I like to say when I'm in bed with Melania. Who's your al-Baghdadi? Remember, I thought Trump didn't like nation building.
We are not nation building again.
Okay, thank you for reminding me.
obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer.
That's also what I like to call what I do with Melania for 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, is the Midnight Hammer. That's how I refer to myself, the Midnight Hammer. That's when I'm nailing Melania. Get it?
All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time.
No nation could do what I do with Melania in 15 seconds. No leader can do that. We hammer it home. Sorry.
All
Sorry for putting that image in your head.
Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of...
It was in the dead of night. It was dark. No shit. I mean, did you really have to tell us that it was dark if it's in the dead of night? It was at noon with no clouds, so it was sunny. Thank you, Weatherman Trump. Holy crap.
Rockets were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
It was turned off because of an expertise we have. Imagine there's the scene from Airplane where like he's pulling out the cord, like, you know, that reminds me of that. That's the expertise that I'm thinking of that he's talking about. Let's see. Yeah. Like I said, in other news, water is wet. Yes, Christine.
It's dark.
Although some people would argue that water isn't wet, water makes things wet, but I am on the water is wet side because for reasons. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. We're not going to get off track talking about why water is wet. Let's go ahead and continue.
And it was deadly. But captured.
It was Wait, let's rewind that a second.
Al-Baghdadi and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites.
I went back a little bit too far, but oh well, we'll go over it again.
Just recently, in an operation known as Midnight Hammer. All
stop. Hammer time.
Perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off.
When the lights go down in Caracas. Right? I mean,
due to a certain expertise that we have, it was dark. And it was deadly.
It was dark again. And it was deadly. Now, again, why are you bragging about that it was deadly? Like, you're bragging that you killed people. Like, it would be more impressive if you would have went in there, gotten Maduro and his wife, and said, we managed to do all that, and we didn't lose any American lives, and we didn't cause the loss of any lives of any Venezuelan citizen. But no, it was dark and it was deadly. And then he's bragging about how deadly it was. Nobody's seen more deadly than what I've done. Now I'm sitting here wanting to do a parody of the Journey song, but as Donald Trump. When the lights go down in Caracas. But I need more lyrics. Dark and deadly. That's just how I refer to the people that I don't like in this country either. The people who I'm deporting are also dark and deadly. That's what I call them. Right?
But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro.
And they'll see justice like no one has ever seen.
Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. It's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens.
What about Mr. Orlando Hernandez, who was found guilty of narco-terrorism or whatever, and you pardoned him? Hypocrite.
I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence.
Power. It's all about the power. I love the power. I don't love anything else. I don't give a crap about competence, but power, that's what gets me off. I love power.
You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids.
Like you've never seen. Again, you ever seen anything like it, like you've ever seen. If I did a drinking game tonight, I'd probably already be on my way to being drunk. So, let's continue.
This country that didn't go so well, they were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like maybe.
What about Rubio's? Let's look at Rubio's eyes right there.
They were different days. We're a respected country again.
He's like, oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I agree to work for this idiot narcissist or whatever? Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that he's not complicit in what's going on here, but I mean, that look right there in and of itself is just like, oh fuck me, what did I do? Yeah. Please, Lord, forgive me for what I have done, for helping this, I wouldn't say Antichrist, because according to my understanding of who the Antichrist is supposed to be, the Antichrist is supposed to be universally loved, and that's not Donald Trump. He's only loved by MAGA idiots and other people who Trump's ass, whose ass is Trump kisses. I guess that's the best way to put it. Anyway, let's continue.
And like never before. These highly
like never before. Again, it's always the same thing.
Trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out.
What if Rubio doesn't even realize that the cameras are shifted this way? I mean, I appreciate the cameras being shifted this way simply because of the fact that, we don't have to see Hegseth, which is a plus. I mean, I'd rather not see Trump either, but we don't have to see Hegseth, so that's a plus. But he's probably thinking that the cameras are just right on Trump right there. Maybe he should have realized, oh, cameras show the screen this way and wide, so maybe I should be a little bit more to the right or whatever. Anyway, let's continue.
In the sea, we're just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming, so they were in what's called a ready position.
This is a ready position. This is the position I like to be when I'm waiting for the Russian hookers to pee on me. That's what I call my ready position too.
But they were completely overwhelmed and
yeah, Christine goes, Rubio is like, oh shit, Grandpa's going off script again. Exactly.
quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see.
It was so strong, so powerful. It gave me a rock hard erection. I got a full 3 inches. Anyway.
Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost.
Now, it was still deadly, so don't get me wrong. We killed people. It just wasn't our people, and we didn't lose any equipment, which is the most important thing because I don't want to lose equipment. We have the best equipment. It's so powerful. It's so strong. Josh, ooh, Dan special.
Many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was more importantly killed. The United States
he had to be like, was more important. Like he's like, let me make sure that they think at least that I'm more worried about the lives of our service people than their military hardware. Let's maybe hope that they think that, because if I don't say it, they might rightly think that I only care about, the things that cost money.
Military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely.
Hey, Big Hook, good to see you. Yep, it says an international precedent that might decide everything rather than international law. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Exactly, because China will invade Taiwan. Russia will use this as an excuse to still go after the Ukraine, or Ukraine. I'm sorry, they would call it the Ukraine because that's how they refer to it as. But yeah, I mean, this is just setting up examples that other people can be like, well, Trump did it, so we can do it too, right? This is how you're supposed to run things now, right?
We begin to imagine we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that. Even if you just
it's so stupid. He's so fun. Like, I was literally about ready to say nobody has it like we have the best equipment. Nobody has any equipment like. I mean, it's so predictably dumb. Like, nobody has better equipment. Like, we have the best military in the world. Nobody has better soldiers. Not that, but we have the best equipment in the world. Nobody has better equipment. Again, he cares more about the things than he does about the people. You shouldn't be surprised about this now, but it's enough to just make you have to laugh at this point because it's so predictably stupid.
Just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea.
But how much of the drugs were coming in by sea versus how much of the drugs were coming in by land? Let's Google that real quick, shall we? How many drugs come to America by sea versus by land? Let's see. Most foreign produced. This is from the Justice Department website. And I have to click I am not a robot. This is from the Justice Department website. A lot of information right here. This is all unclassified by Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and share that in the chat just so you can look at what I'm looking at currently, where I'm getting my information from. But yes, let me search the page for this. Let's see, most, 3, 4. There are 327 official U.S. land, maritime, and air POEs, whatever. However, relatively few POEs account for most of the drug flow in the United States. In fact, 88% of all drug seizures occurred at just 20 points of entry. Of these points of entry, drug shipments were transported to dozens of national whatever, blah, 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 blah. Interstate 10 as well as Interstates 8 and 20 are the most used by drug couriers. But yeah. According to most foreign-produced illicit drugs available in the United States are smuggled into the country overland across the borders with Mexico, not overseas. So when he says that it's stopping most of the drugs coming overseas, it's not stopping most of the drugs coming into this country. And we've seen that because the Trump administration, while they were saying back when it was only 3 months of zero supposed illegal illegal people crossing the border, they still seized a bunch of drugs. Not as much drugs as Biden seized, but they still seized a bunch of drugs. And how did they get here? Via the land, not the sea. So this whole thing of the happening via the sea is just a bunch of bullshit for him to be able to justify killing people in boats, killing fishermen, and claiming that it was being done to protect people, from the drugs. The drugs come by land. Lots are by land, few by sea.
90.
And again, also, Christine, they only want to address the supply issue and never the demand because Republicans are supply-side economics addicts. They love supply-side economics. They don't understand that supply-side economics is a failure. They don't understand the whole if you build it, they will come idea is a fallacy. They don't understand. This is how they handle abortions as well, just to get mildly off topic. They believe that Planned Parenthood goes into black neighborhoods specifically because they're black and not because they're poor, but they say they target black people because that's where they're putting the clinics. No, they're not saying if you build these clinics, they will come. Yes, till if you one up by land, exactly. They're not saying that, they're suggesting that the people are going to come if you build it, and they wouldn't have the demand for the abortion otherwise if the clinics were in there. No, Planned Parenthood would never open a clinic in an area where there was no demand for it because it doesn't make any sense. They're only going to open in a place if it has unmet needs. unmet demand for their goods and services that Planned Parenthood would provide. And as such, they're only going to go in areas where abortion is higher demand. And I did this research actually last night in having a debate with somebody else. Like 70 to 75% of all abortions that take place of people who are at 200% of the federal poverty level or below. So abortion is mostly a poverty issue and not a racial issue. But conservatives want to make it into a racial issue because conservatives make everything into a racial issue, and then hypocritically blame the Democrats for doing just that. Anyway, so that, and again, Big Hook rightly says that's why Narcan is no longer free like before under Biden. Yep.
Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%.
Who the hell believes that? I do not believe that whatsoever, because we don't even know what was on those boats. We don't even know what was on those boats. But yet, he's going to say that each boat kills 25,000 people? What? No, that's stupid. And if you're a MAGA person and you believe that line right there, you're a fucking idiot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Hey, P-Dubs, thank you. And thank you for joining the stream, and you're welcome for having the stream. Let's continue.
And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can.
Most drugs come from Venezuela? Let's see. What countries do most illegal drugs come from that are in America? Most illegal drugs. Mexico is the leading supplier of fentanyl, often Chinese precursors, methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine in the U.S. Colombia, Peru, Bolivia are the primary sources for cocoa cultivation, making them key producers of cocaine. China, major source of fentanyl and the precursor chemicals needed to make it. Mexican cartels, Andean region, cocaine from South American countries. Drugs are trafficked in through various routes, including Central America, the Caribbean, and directly from South America. In summary, while Mexican cartels control much of the distribution, raw materials trace back to South America and cocaine. I would like more specific, though. Let's just see. Where does Venezuela rank in how much drugs it supplies U.S.? U.S. It's thinking right now. Estimated supply and ranking. Venezuela is primarily a transit hub rather than a producer. It is ranked 6th in Latin America for cocaine seizures, accounting for less than 2% of the regional total, well behind Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama. Volume to the U.S. data indicates approximately 8 to 10% of cocaine destined for the U.S. passes through Venezuela via Caribbean routes. By contrast, more than 80% of the U.S.-bound cocaine flows through the Eastern Pacific and Central America. For example, Guatemala, where routes where Venezuela has no presence. Venezuela is ranked 5th globally for detected and dismantled illegal drug processing facilities, with roughly 260 labs identified between 2019 and 2023. So let's go ahead and rewind a smidge and see what he said again.
You see that? Even if you just look at the boats, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela.
Nope, Venezuela ranks 5th. It ranks 5th. So, and most of it comes from, not from Venezuela, but other places, as we just said. Let's continue listening to this idiot, shall we?
We're going to run.
Well, P-Dubs goes, we all need to be calling our reps and screaming at the top of our lungs, stop him now. That'd be nice. I mean, I'm sure if I called my rep, Troy Carter, he'd be like, we agree with you. But my representative is a Democrat in Congress, so we need to call, the senators, most likely, and get them, because my 2 senators are Republicans, and they, need to wake the fuck up. But they're not gonna, especially Cassidy, because Cassidy is facing a very difficult re-election season this year, and he is unlikely to win. But But, and of course Kennedy he's an idiot.
The country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So
Wait,
we don't want to be.
Let's go back again because I think I missed something.
Our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world.
Hold on. Let's go back again.
But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure.
All right, let's go back.
Our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat
I rewound a little bit too far.
On average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So,
is Marco like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to go live in Venezuela for months while we're running the country? Like, I wonder who's going to be put in charge of running the country of Venezuela until they decide to turn it back over to the people. Again, Donald Trump said that we would not be nation building, right? And that's what he said.
We are not nation building again.
Really?
We are not nation building again.
Really?
We are not nation building again.
Liar.
We don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years.
So he doesn't want somebody else to get in and I guess be elected or whatever and then be back in the same situation. So what does he want to do? He wants to make sure that I guess a good leader that he approves of, like from the Tom Lehrer song, they got to be we got to be whatever, all the rights respected till somebody we like can be elected. The Marines. I could play that version, I guess, that I have as well. Let's see, where is it? Where's the Send the Marines song? Do I have that on here? I don't think, maybe I don't have that saved here. I think I have that somewhere, but it's not downloaded here. Oh, well.
So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious.
So he's going to put somebody Jewish involved because it has to be judicious. Exactly, Big Hook. Unfortunately, it requires 2/3 of the Senate to convict and remove, unfortunately, on impeachment. It takes fewer people to do it the 25th Amendment route, but you would also need the cabinet to do it, and there's no way his cabinet's going to turn against him. Not one bit. So the 25th Amendment is basically stupid at this point. It's useless and toothless.
Because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela.
Except for those we already murdered last night.
And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to.
Who we're going to deport back to the Venezuela because, that's why we want to have, that's why we took over Venezuela, so we can send back all the Venezuelans to Venezuela and they can make Venezuela great again and leave our country because that's the ultimate goal. So.
To go back to.
Liberty Twitcher, it's difficult not to be happy for the people of Venezuela, but at what price to us? It'll be years before we can get out of Venezuela now. That's another good point. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Maduro is, again, I said this earlier in the show, Maduro wasn't a good guy. He probably should be brought up on charges. He's an illegitimate leader. The people of Venezuela elected somebody else, and Maduro stayed in power, and Trump only waited till now to act. But again, that's because he needed to do this whole theater of bombing boats and pretending that they had drugs in them, because I have no reason to believe that there were drugs in those boats, because I have no reason to believe he was being honest about that. But yes, there's the other thing that's one of the important things to discuss. Not the important thing, but one of the important things to discuss is clearly that we are going to be stuck there for a very long time. Because I guarantee you that the people who Donald Trump wants to be in charge are not going to be the ones that the people of Venezuela want to be in charge. And as such, there's going to be lots of headbutting and lots of conflict between who gets to actually run the country. In the meanwhile, we will be running the country, and so we will be involved in foreign entanglements. And again, what was it that Donald Trump said?
We are not nation building again.
What?
We are not nation building again.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of people who are happy. I mean, look, if there was a country that decided to do the same thing for us, you know, and if it was, let's say Russia decided to be pissed off at Trump, and Russia was like, we're going to remove Trump from office, we'd be like, okay, cool, we're happy that Trump is being removed from office. And then Russia's like, yeah, but we're going to run you now. And we'll be like, maybe that's not so great. Because you're replacing the dictator Maduro with the wannabe dictator of Trump. Is that really an upgrade? I really don't know if that's an upgrade. I really question whether or not that is an upgrade. And even if it's a lateral move, it's not a positive thing for the people of Venezuela. Even right now, even though some of them right now might be going, okay, good, we're done with Maduro, we don't have Maduro. But then we're going to be like, oh, well, what the hell is Trump going to do to us now? And how the hell is Trump going to violate our sovereignty and take our money and hand it over to American oligarchs and other wealthy business people who have no business in Venezuela? So, no, yeah, Liberty Twitcher. Venezuela is absolutely a disaster. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to continue to be a disaster. And we've just inherited the disaster, and I don't believe that Trump's going to make it any better, and he could very well make it worse. That's my point. So, anyway, let's go. And again, since you're not seeing this on YouTube, these are people who are commenting over on Twitch. So, 80% of the food in Venezuela is imported now, so there could be famine within weeks. Maybe that's Trump's solution to the problem of the American farmers? Like, he could be like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to seize Venezuelan oil and we're going to use it to pay the American farmer. We're going to sell the Venezuelan oil. We're going to seize it and we're going to pay the American farmers to grow food so that we can ship the food to Venezuela so that they can have food, American farmers can get paid, and we can do it via the cost of the Venezuelan oil. Meanwhile, I'm going to take a cut, and all of the oil barons are going to take a cut, and it's going to make all of us richer, and yada, yada, yada. And meanwhile, probably the American farmers still won't get as much as they were doing before. Lather, rinse, repeat, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, let's continue.
Their country, it's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind.
So we're going to put me in charge, who doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. Like, this, if I wrote this in a fiction story, nobody would believe it as being believable until right now. Now it's believable that you would have such an idiot in the office. So,
we've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So
and then we will define what the proper transition is, because if they do it, we won't agree with it and whatever. First and foremost, the next leader of Venezuela has to firmly and tightly affix their lips to my butthole and kiss my orange ass. That's what they need to do. So
we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as
we're going to run it until it runs into the ground. That's until such time. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
Proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time.
And when I first heard it was going to be a bust, I thought they were talking about breasts, and I'm like, what's wrong with that? Hey, Jojo Mojo, good to see you. How many people literally have to suffer and die worldwide? Not just Trump. He's the head, basically, sick to whatever. Billionaires got to kick rocks as well. Greenness, religion, extremism, etc. Exactly. Big Hook, he wants Big O to get in there and give him the already approved upon kicks back so Trump and family backers. Yep, exactly. That's what I've been saying pretty much all day.
They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping.
And I know about pumping. We have the most pumping we've ever seen. We are going to pump Venezuela hard. We're going to pump them so full of oil that they're just going to explode. It's going to be coming out of their eyes. They'll be pumped so hard.
Oh my.
And what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in.
Very large, biggest anywhere in the world. I mean, I don't know. Would BP have something about that? What are the biggest oil companies globally? What are the largest oil companies globally? Largest oil companies include Saudi Aramco, ExxonMobil, Chevron, PetroChina, and Shell, with Aramco leading significantly as the world's biggest producer and most valuable energy company. But no, we're the biggest in the world, except, if you just ignore Saudi Aramco. Yeah, good job there, Trump. Good job knowing all of your facts about the oil. Again, just because Trump's... People should not be surprised about this, though, because Donald Trump says something is the biggest in the world. It doesn't mean that it's true. Ask Stormy Daniels.
Oh my.
Billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure.
Oil infrastructure. I was going to say, you just bombed some of the infrastructure. You just made the infrastructure worse. But, I was stuck with the oil infrastructure.
And start making money.
Now remember, when Donald Trump ran for president in 2016, he said that we should go into the Middle Eastern countries and invade them and take their oil. Remember that. If you don't remember that, you should, because I've mentioned it several times on the podcast, but it's been, he said it loudly and clearly that we should go to the Middle East, invade them, and take their oil. So nobody should be surprised that now Donald Trump is invading Venezuela and is taking their oil too. Because why does it matter what part of the world is in? They have oil. Let's take it. That's Donald Trump's playbook. Let's continue.
For the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to...
So why do we need to stage a second attack? I thought we got rid of Maduro and now we're running the country. Why do we need to attack ourselves since we're running the country now? Are you saying that you're inept at running a country and you need to use military force to go into areas of a country to make sure that you have control over it because you don't have the ability to rule a country by yourself without additional military force? Oh, I guess that does make sense, right? Because that's what he's doing here too. Let's continue.
Do a second wave.
Yeah, exactly. Fixing the oil infrastructure, says Liberty Switcher, will take many years, which means we'll be there for many years. We are going to be stuck there, nation building, for the benefit of the oil oligarchs. But why are we nation building?
We are not nation building again.
Liar. Let's continue.
If we needed to do so, we actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that. The first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
A much bigger wave. No one will still have seen a bigger wave than that. It'll be the most powerful wave anyone's ever seen. Larger than the one that you saw in Deep Impact. Christine, you're not going to go wander into After Dark territory, are you? I mean, I kind of have, but we'll see. Hey, Trucker John, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you. Yeah, Liberty Switcher, best wave ever. No one's had better waves. Anyway.
This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United...
But we'll pull it out. We will whip out that big wave, and we will show it to everybody if we have to. You're welcome, Christine.
United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe.
Bullshit. How many people in Venezuela are going to be rich under this plan? No, it's going to be more American millionaires and billionaires who are going to be made even richer because of this action. Let's continue. Has anyone else heard they took Maduro to Gitmo? I thought they were taking him to New York, but I mean, it's possible they might have stopped at Gitmo. Who the hell knows? I mean, maybe they said they're taking him into New York very loudly in order to bring him to Gitmo, much like the Starks took Tyrion to the Vale after claiming that they were going to take him to Winterfell and the King's Road. That's a little deep cut there from Game of Thrones. Anyway.
And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered.
It'll make them happy, and it'll make them want to go home, which is ultimately what my goal is, to make every Venezuelan and every other foreigner go home, because that's what I mean. But when I say make America great again, it means make America white again, right?
So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States.
So is Hernandez, and you pardoned him, dumbass.
As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas.
I'm actually surprised he got it out relatively okay. Because when he said cartel and he paused, and I was like, oh shit, how is he going to mispronounce this one?
Which flooded our nation with lethal...
Hey, Roxanne, thank you for stopping by. Smash that like button as you fly through, at least. Helped out the algorithm. And we appreciate you for helping out the algorithm. Have a good night. Peace out to you.
Poison responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died.
You killed hundreds of thousands of Americans by your poor reaction to COVID. So shut the fuck up on American deaths. You couldn't care less about American deaths. F off.
Because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial.
You mean the full might of American justice that couldn't even indict a ham sandwich? Couldn't indict Comey? Couldn't indict Letitia James? Who else aren't they able to indict? Yeah, the full brunt of the inept Department of Justice under the sycophant Pam Bondi, who is only going to do what you want her to do.
On American soil. Right now they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will
ultimately New York. So maybe they did stop off at Gitmo first, and then they'll switch over to New York. Who knows?
Be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
New York.
Florida. But we have people where the...
What was it? What was the misheard lyric of the New York song? Concrete jungle, wet dream, tomato. Next time you listen to the song, and you hear, instead of hearing concrete jungle where dreams are made of, it's concrete jungle, wet dream, tomato. Listen to the song and you'll laugh. Anyway.
Overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law.
No one has more evidence. We have the most evidence, the best evidence anyone's ever seen. We have evidence like no one's ever seen.
And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against
the
United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability.
Big Hook makes a very big point. What is sad is that the military followed an illegal order from this criminal POTUS. Yep.
Of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs.
Although I don't think, if the military ever decides to stop following his orders, I don't think it's going to be orders against other countries. I think it's going to take Donald Trump giving an illegal order for something to take place within this country and going after American citizens. If the military has enough people who are good people who actually understand and follow their oath to the Constitution and serve this country instead of serving this president, I think that's when they will actually push back and say, no, we're not doing this. I don't think they'll do it for military actions overseas. I think it'll only happen if when Trump decides to push too far here, and that's if we have enough people in the military to push back against that. So
that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide, and he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the
wasn't that debunked?
fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now.
Now we got the entire stage view of all of the Nazis in charge, not just the head Nazi in charge. Would that make him the HNIC? Maybe not.
And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard.
Yeah, Pete looks like he has something just shoved completely straight up his ass. I mean, he looks very uncomfortable there. Miller looks like he might have something shoved up his ass and might actually like it. I mean, not to kink shame. I mean, if that's what you like, more power to you. You know, enjoy it.
It's a job that they've done. Whether
we're getting ever so closer into Liberal Dan Radio After Dark.
it's in Washington D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most
Washington, D.C. is totally safe, y'all. It is totally 100% safe. You will never have to deal with crime again in Washington, D.C. At least violent crime, I guess, because there's the crime that's going on every day in the White House. But, you know, you're totally safe in D.C. now, y'all. You can walk into what used to be the worst neighborhoods of D.C. and be totally fine because Washington, D.C. is now totally safe. When he says Washington, D.C. is totally safe, what he probably means is that it's totally safe to walk around near the Capitol and near the Smithsonian or whatever, but not in all of D.C. because he doesn't care about those parts of D.C. He only cares about the parts of D.C. that he will actually show up at, which is most of the time not there because he wants to be in Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster and other places, right? So, or either that or he's sleeping because apparently he doesn't have events that take place between outside of like noon to 5 p.m. every day.
safe cities anywhere in the world, frankly. And now we have no crime in Washington, D.C.
There is no crime in Washington, D.C. None. How much crime took place in Washington, D.C. in December 2025? It was down. See, 2026. In 2026, there's already been 5 assaults with a dangerous weapon, 2 robberies, 7 violent crimes, 2 theft from auto, 6 motor vehicle thefts, 8 theft other, 23 examples of all crime, 16 of property crime total. Yes, over 2024 to 2025, the percent change in crime has been decreased, and that's fine. But no, I've just looked up right now to see the Metropolitan Police page on Washington, D.C., and it clearly says that as of January 2nd in 2026, you have at least 23 examples of all crime. Now, yes, it's fewer crimes than last year at this time, but there's still crime. So for him to say that there's no crime is just a lie. But we didn't even need to look that up because we knew it was a lie. Just like we know it's a lie when Donald Trump says there's been no illegal crossings in the southern border for the last 7 months. That's bullshit too. So, yes. And yes, thirsty little Marco looks very guilty. He is not happy with himself, and he realizes that he's stuck. He realizes that either he stands up and does the right thing, and then faces the punishment from L. Donald, or he continues to violate whatever principles he might have. So
We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago.
We had a killing. We had a terrorist attack, and one of them died. But we don't have a killing. What? How dumb are you?
A little bit of a
Don't need to answer that. We already know what dummy is.
different kind.
Actually, we don't even know how dummy is. It's very well possible that the levels of his stupidity may get even worse and worse as time grows. It's like a growing like avalanche downhill, like a snowball, right? Todd, he needs to be impeached. Yes, he does need to be impeached. Unfortunately, the House won't do it and the Senate won't convict. So, I mean, all you need to impeach him is the House. To convict him of impeachment is the Senate. But you know neither of the houses are going to do anything like that because they've abdicated their responsibility as one of the three branches of government that they need to actually have a check on the president's power, and they have not been a check on the president's power. Yes, I believe that is Stephen Miller there on the far left, which is odd because normally Stephen Miller is on the far right.
Kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average 2 a week.
We haven't had a killing in 6-7 months. DC murders by month 2025. Let's see. In July through July 2025, there were 96 murders. Homicide numbers were consistently falling, but they weren't actually there. Again, let's see. Homicide, 128 total homicides in 2025, but it doesn't break it down by month. Let's see. DC murders by month 2025. That's what I want. That was from 2025, not 2026. Data.gov, crime incidents in 2025. Let's see. But that's not again by month. Anyway, we don't even have to look it up because you know what? If you believe that there's been that zero amount of killings in the last those amount of months, you are an idiot. So.
In Washington, our capital, we don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They go in, they walk in their daughters, they walk in their children, their wives, they walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. Been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%.
Okay, DC Witness website. Data shows 22 homicides in December, ending the district's deadliest year. Oh, that's 2020. That was 2023. Oh, well. Boo. So ignore that one because that's giving us bad information right there. But still, again, don't believe that it's zero, not one bit.
And the governor of Louisiana called, great person. And he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. And we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
After 2.5 weeks. New Orleans.
After 2.5 weeks, New Orleans is crime-free!
And we've only been there for 2.5.
Yeah, that's so wrong. I mean, crime was already dropping in New Orleans regardless. Like, crime was down from this year to last year prior to them ever asking for the National Guard to go into New Orleans. So that, first of all, there's that. So crime had dropped regardless of whether or not Trump was president. Crime was dropping in New Orleans. But the idea that in 2.5 weeks they've eliminated the crime here, bullshit. I'm here. I can tell you that's bullshit.
Weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of The police department.
Notice that he's now meandering thoughts, trying to, talk about all random shit. He's gone completely off script at this point because it's not even about Venezuela anymore. Now it's about, this is how wonderful I am, and this is what I think that we're going to bring to Venezuela, I guess, in order to hoodwink at least the supporters to thinking, oh, he's doing a great job. Yuk, yuk. Yep. Anyway.
Made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires.
Bullshit.
That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to.
And I don't like to pull out, but we'll be pulling out when it's needed, because when we have to pull out, we'll pull out.
Oh my.
We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned. Tren de Aragua.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm looking up here. Crime is eliminated or whatever in D.C. D.C. is the total safe one. Specifically from November 2025, in the month, there was a homicide. There was 8 examples of larceny, 16 examples of motor vehicle theft, 13 examples of crime, 9 examples of aggravated assault, 2 examples of attempted motor vehicle theft. Year to date, but yeah. That is the Metro, and that's just the transit police, all right? That's just the Metro Transit Police, just bus, rail, parking lot, metro facilities, and others. So this is not the entirety of D.C. This is just the transit police saying that they had a murder, a homicide that took place there in the metro. So that's just that, not anything else. So, yeah, Donald Trump's a big fat liar, but nobody needs to be told that because we already know that he is.
And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really.
See, crime is down per capita compared to Trump with Trump crime wave. Yep, exactly. Let's see, X and F. It's likely more about denying the oil to China. China was building oil infrastructure there, though in a sense it's still keeping it as an undeclared reserve for the U.S. Yeah, but again, we're seizing the oil, which is something. I mean, yeah, he campaigned on that in 2016. So the idea that people shouldn't be shocked that he is doing that, but Marjorie Taylor Greene pretty much said it best, which is shocking that I have to say that. It feels dirty to say that, but she basically said it best. It's like, this is not what he campaigned on. This is literally not what MAGA voted for. MAGA voted for the exact opposite of what he's doing. But of course, MAGA folks are now going to be like, oh, this is what we voted for. Anyway, let's continue.
One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari, what happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails.
I'll listen to that again.
A little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from.
We got them both. But Donald Trump is so dumb that I think he believes that he thinks that when people are declaring asylum or want to claim asylum in this country, he thinks that means they're coming from insane asylums. Like, that's how dumb he is.
From their mental institutions, they sent from.
Because remember, he believes that when people were getting free shipping from like Amazon Prime, that it meant that the people who were actually doing the shipping weren't getting reimbursed for the shipping that was going on, instead of it actually being what it really is, which is that, the person who is selling the good, if you buy enough from them, or if you just are like an Amazon Prime member, for example, you can get free shipping on certain products, and you get that free shipping, but it's because the seller is paying for the shipping to the shipper. So that's again how dumb Donald Trump is. Let's continue.
Their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States. But no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela,
Venezuela
and stole American.
They are Venezuelans, and that's why we had to go after them, because we protect the whales, just like we're going after the windmills and stopping the windmills, because that kills the whales too. We are going to go after the Venezuelans as well, to protect the whales by Venezuela as well.
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
Anyway.
Oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars.
$1 billion!
They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away.
See, hold on, let's see. XNF depends on what happens. If the U.S. got what it wanted without ending up in another quagmire, it's actually more ammo against the Democrats. If you say Ukraine-Russia started in 2014, that was under Obama. If you say it started in 22, so it was under Biden. Gaza started under Biden. But the reason that Putin had to take action in 2014 and 2022 during Democratic administrations, it's because he wasn't getting anywhere gaining power without having to use military might. During Trump's first administration, i.e. between 2016 and 2020, or 2017 and 2021, I guess I should say, is that he ceded power to Putin in the Middle East, dealing with the issues with Syria. He tried to weaken NATO. So Putin's sitting there looking at how Donald Trump's weakening NATO, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, I don't have to do anything because Trump is giving me all power. I don't have to risk single soul, any single troop. I get more power with Trump in power than I do with any Democrats in power. So why the need to make the risk? Why the need to spend all the money, right? So that's why Putin had to do things during Biden, during Obama. Now, of course, Biden was willing to stand up to Putin and be like, okay, well, we're going to give, or make sure that Ukraine has the weapons it can use to protect itself. And Trump's like, nope, we're not going to do that. And is basically kissing Putin's ass, allowing Putin to have his way, telling Zelensky that he doesn't have the cards, etc., etc., etc. So XNF goes, so Trump backing off NATO prevented the quagmire, and Biden pushing NATO further got us into one. Now, Trump backing off of NATO, weakening NATO, is what caused Putin to be like, well, I have more power, so I don't have to take any risks, because you're already giving Putin power. So Putin wants his power. When you have Democratic presidents who don't want to give Putin power and will push back against Putin, that's when Putin will take action and do illegal things. So, and again, it's not the Democrats' fault that Putin is the one that invaded. Just like it's not Ukraine's fault that Putin's the one that invaded. But Trump wants to blame Ukraine and not Putin for the invasion. What sense does that fucking make? It makes none.
We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign power.
I would have done something about it, but he says...
We are not nation building again.
But now he is. So apparently he doesn't know what he's talking about.
...to rob our people or drive us back in.
Todd goes, I'm going to subscribe to your channel. It's awesome. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you. Thank you. Remember to like and share and check out all the other stuff that we have available on, share some stuff. Help the algorithm because Al Gore needs more rhythm.
Into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. They
wouldn't have had to use those weapons last night if you hadn't gone in there and started bombing the shit out of everyone. But let's continue.
Potentially in league.
XNF. Amazing how these fantasies always mean Democrats don't fuck anything. No, Democrats absolutely screw things up. Don't get me wrong. I've been very critical of Democrats on this show. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of things to criticize Democrats for. But to blame the Democrats for Putin's bad behavior is silly. To blame Ukraine for Putin's bad behavior is silly. But yeah, there were plenty of times the Democrats screw up. And I will be the first to say, y'all fucked up. But it's just silly to also think that, what you're basically suggesting, XNF, what you're suggesting here over in the Twitch chat is that we should be like Neville Chamberlain and appease Putin, because by appeasing Putin, Putin then doesn't feel the need to take aggressive actions yet, but because Obama and Biden wouldn't appease Putin, he somehow got stronger. So the idea of you're pushing for appeasement of a horrible person like Putin. And how did that work for Neville Chamberlain back in, last century? So
With the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries.
And notice again, he derided and criticized people like Obama for having to use a teleprompter and other people for using a teleprompter. He's not even using a teleprompter here. He's just reading from a script. So he's just reading from the paperwork right there. I don't know why you couldn't have transferred it from a paper to a teleprompter, but there we go. He's sitting there. Again, Biden reads from teleprompters and they throw a fit. But when Trump reads from teleprompters or just from papers, it's okay. Because...
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine.
The Monroe Doctrines, plural.
Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know.
Oh, oh my God! Was it somebody in the chat that said it? I think somebody in this chat brought up the Monroe Doctrine, and I thought you were joking. See, this is why I shouldn't underestimate Trump's stupidity, because I really was thinking that you were making a joke about the Monroe Doctrine, and now that he said it, I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, let's continue.
We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be...
Jeff, okay, go. Jeff from just north of Uranus brought up the Monroe Doctrine, and, I mean, you did your homework, clearly. I thought you were kidding. I thought you were joking. So, there you go. That's how dumb this president is.
Questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing.
And look, like Standard Oil built the oil infrastructure in like the 1930s. And in the 1970s is when Venezuela nationalized the energy business and then took, I guess, all of the oil infrastructure that was built by Standard Oil in the 30s. So almost 100 years ago is when we built their infrastructure, or when Standard Oil built the infrastructure. And now he's complaining about the fact that in the 70s, so what, Nixon, I don't know if Nixon was president, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, and Trump in this first term. Trump sitting here saying that we should have done something, previous presidents should have done something about how Venezuela took the oil infrastructure that we built for them, or that Standard Oil built for them in the 1930s. He neglected to say how long ago it was and how probably outdated it is, which is probably why they have only begun to tap their reserves or tap their ability to, produce oil. But why didn't he do it in his first term? If this was such an important thing to do, you didn't go seize it back in between 2017, January 20th, 2017, and January 20th, 2021, did you? No, you didn't. So then why are you complaining about other presidents who did it when you're just as complicit with what happened because you failed to act? So shut the fuck up, you moron. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, Teresa's here. Good to see you. Thank you for joining, Teresa. Nice to see you.
Security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region.
We're so powerful, nobody's more powerful, except when they need to justify, building the USS Trump or whatever it's going to be called, the Trump class of battleship or whatever it is. Then you say, oh, China's military, China's Navy is so much bigger than ours, even though they're counting hulls and not firepower. But, But when you don't need the threat of some mythical, more powerful navy than ours in order to justify building another one of your vanity projects, you can then say that our military is the strongest, right? Jeff goes, Dan and I need to make a video. What kind of video do we need to make, Jeff?
Oh my.
Now, if that was Impeccable Living saying that we needed to make a video, that would be, I would completely know what type of video he would be talking about. But,
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald.
And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance.
My future's so bright I have to wear shades, although I'm not wearing them now, but I will.
In my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core.
No, I mean, look, Marco's just sitting there like looking back and forth, like paranoid as to who's watching him, what he's doing, who's going to catch him here, whatever. Heckstett's just like, when's my next beer? When can I have my next beer? I don't even know if beer is what he drank. That was Kavanaugh with the beer. Maybe he's more of a whiskey drinker. I don't know. Maybe he likes Jaeger bombs. More of a frat guy type of drink, I guess.
Our national security, just like tariffs they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security strong.
Tariffs made our economy weak because our buying power is weakened, because now we have to spend more money to buy the same stuff because you don't understand how tariffs work. Let's continue.
Stronger than ever before. But these are...
You've never seen such a strong economy. It's stronger than it ever has been before. Again, patently ridiculous.
The iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash.
Wait, we're going to secure our borders? I thought our borders were secure. You said our borders were secure, didn't you? I thought you did. But now they're not secure. What the hell's going on, Donnie boy? Are you lying again?
The cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic.
You're not defending him against one of the biggest threats against American citizens. You!
Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger.
Fuck around and find out. Of course, that they actually posted FAFO on the official White House Facebook page, which just, again, shows you how childish and immature this administration is. But of course, that one I shared the image that I shared to my Facebook page by Brian Tyler Cohen or whoever, basically pointing out the hypocrisy that, oh, we're going to go after Maduro after, weeks after you gave a pardon to Hernandez. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Thank you for joining.
American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect.
Does that mean that we can't sell the oil if we drill it from Venezuela because it's embargoed even though we're running it now? Yeah, 250 kilo robber baron, maybe not smart but knows his grip. That's exactly the point that I've been making up for a very long time now. That he may very well be an idiot. That doesn't mean he's not a good con man. He's a very adept con man. He knows how to do the con. It's the art of the con, not the art of the deal.
Remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen.
So basically, he's threatening every single political and military leader in that country now that you're going to get arrested too if you don't, follow our lead.
Happen to them.
Or his lead. I don't want to call his lead our lead because his lead is, not leadership that we want at all.
If they aren't just, fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again.
Yeah, free. Free to be ruled by American imperialism.
It's been a long time for them, but they're...
And the Don Roe doctrine. I just want to... That's just... Like, I guess I should have realized that he's that dumb that he would have said some stupid shit like the Don Roe doctrine, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to believe that was actually a true thing. I just thought Jeff was being funny, but I guess I should remember that Jeff said he wasn't being funny. So...
Free. America is a safer nation. This morning... It's a prouder nation this morning because it...
Yeah, a prouder nation. Go ahead. Hold on a second. Somebody's knocking on my...
Didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be.
What is up with that microphone, by the way? It's like, it looks like there's like a long shaft right here with a little tiny little nub right here. Like, it reminds me of something else that I might talk about on Liberal Dan Radio After Dark. I'm just gonna go. That's as far as I'll take it. Like, but yeah, it looks like. Some sort of stimulator right there. I'll leave it at that.
I want to thank everybody for being here.
Didn't he thank everybody for being here? Wasn't he about to wrap it up like 5 minutes ago? Like I thought he was about to wrap it up. I guess I don't like to wrap it up. I like to raw dog the mic.
Oh my!
Yeah, we're getting very close into Liberal Dan After Dark territory. It's not really what we're going to talk about in Liberal Dan After Dark.
Kane, he's fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good.
You don't respect any of the military. Fuck off.
But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack.
It was an attack on sovereignty. I mean, how can you not just understand? It was an attack on sovereignty. If that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. I mean, come on.
For justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words.
I'm so peaceful, yet I have a Secretary of War. But I should have gotten the Nobel Peace Prize, even though I bombed Venezuela and Caracas in Venezuela, and I killed probably civilians in Venezuela. But I should get the Peace Prize because I'm a piece of work.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr.
Wait, there's a second example of actually somebody calling him sir. So usually, because Donald Trump's like, people say to me, sir, and I'm like, nobody says to you, sir. And I think we found 2 examples on this podcast so far of somebody finally calling him sir. Anyway, let's continue.
Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects, and the American.
Yeah, let me just be clear. Or let's just be clear. Pete Hegseth, when he said that he wasn't going to drink anymore, right? Like he said he wasn't going to drink alcohol. He never said anything about not doing drugs, right? Because, I mean, you have to be high to think that the world respects this idiot.
American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid
Did he say massive joint? Wait.
Flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American war.
Of course, Donald Trump wonders what's in it for them and, questions their service and questions the integrity and the bravery of the people who serve this country because he's like, what's in it for them? But, you've chose to serve this idiot as head of his Department of Defense, because I don't want to call it the Department of War. Someone needs to give him a piece of shit prize. Exactly. That's what Israel did.
Warriors are second to none. The best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was...
250 Kilo Ohm says something very funny. I'll just leave it. 250 Kilo Ohm says, don't read this out loud, and what the microphone model is, but that's hilarious. I'm not going to read it, though. He's asked me to... 250 Kilo Ohm asked for me not to read it, so there you go. I won't read it.
Sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior.
It's the quadruple G's. It's a whole bunch of G's.
I'm simply humbled by...
I don't believe you have that feeling. You're capable of feeling humble. Yeah, I don't believe that one bit.
Such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President...
unless they're not, and we need to use, and then we need to say how not powerful they are in order to justify expanding our military. But, last night I guess they were elite because they can't have a straight message about it.
Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off.
And I've been saying that for a while now. Every single time y'all talk about how China's Navy is big and our military has been weakened by previous presidents. No, I've said we have the most powerful military in the world. And we've consistently have had the most powerful military in the world. And of course, no military could have done it, but it's a matter of should they have done it? And should they have done it in the way in which they did it? And that's the responsibility of you and Donald Trump. And really not even you, because, well, I mean, yeah, you should have responsibility in saying no to illegal orders. You should have responsibility in, standing up to him and telling him when he's wrong and, telling him to not put American soldiers at risk for stupidity. That being said, he's not gonna because he wants to keep his job, and the only way to keep his job is to kiss Donald Trump's ass.
No other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen.
Ass kisser. Nobody who kisses this much ass should be in charge of the military. Period.
As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime.
And that was no different before Trump, and it won't be any different after Trump.
The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display.
Thank you very much, P-Dubs, for being in the show. Appreciate you for swinging on by.
In the middle of the night. Nicolás Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country.
He's deadly serious in protecting people, and he'll kill you to prove it.
Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious.
Which, I mean, if he was, then he wouldn't have gone after Venezuela. Just saying.
About getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And
again, it's all about the oil. And again, it's stolen from us. You know, a corporation built it. Standard Oil built it, but it was stolen from us. Because what you want to have ownership of all the energy companies now? Is that what you want? Yeah. Big Hook, war crimes trial at The Hague. I see in your near future, Keg's breath. Exactly.
Deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people.
Right, and fuck the freedom of anyone else, right? Because nobody else's freedom matters, just our freedoms.
This
For might makes right until they see the light. They've got to be protected, all their rights respected, till somebody we like can be elected. Anyway.
This is peace through strength, and the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it.
Peace through strength, and what better way to promote peace than by calling it the War Department? Fuckers, all of them.
Welcome to 2026, and under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to
America, fuck yeah! Not saying the next line.
Welcome now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give
our Chairman Raisin Kane.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolás and Cecilia Maduro. This operation...
Of course, you know, Netanyahu's been... has an arrest warrant for him, right? Several countries, so they can just go in there and take him too, right? They're going to put him on trial, right? That's going to happen, right? What happens if somebody decides, oh, Donald Trump needs to be arrested and indicted? Are they gonna just step aside and be like, oh, nope, that's fine, go ahead, take Donald, take him. He was indicted, so therefore it must be legitimate, right?
Known as Operation Absolute Resolve was discreet, precise, and conducted during...
It wasn't discreet. They were bombing the hell out of them. Discreet would have been a surgical incursion into the country to go after only Maduro and his wife. And that would have been it, with minimizing casualties. I don't see any evidence that they were trying to minimize casualties if they were bombing multiple places and not this place specifically where Maduro was. Let's continue.
The darkest hours of January 2nd, and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromise.
We're going to go through the preparation of details, and we went through preparations A through G, and we ended up at preparation H. Not an original joke, I know, I'm sorry.
Any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again.
Especially with Donald Trump as president, who doesn't give a crap about any, actually following the rules. He's just going to do it because he feels like it, but,
Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating
Let's just fast forward this, because I don't think we necessarily need to hear anything from this. Because he's not going to tell us the details. We can skip through that.
None of those three recognize them.
Oh, there's Rubio.
Hold on.
He was just us saying it. Do what you've heard now.
Executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong.
Hey, Mike and Jen's Journey, or AKA Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolás.
He's like, I don't have much to add, other than what I have to add, but, other than the fact that I look like I've been miserable this entire time and looking up at God himself and asking him for forgiveness for me betraying everything I've promised that I do in my career or whatever, because I promised people that I would be all right, or a good person, even though he's not, because he's, fucking Marco Rubio, but he's serving Donald Trump, which proves that whatever goodness he might have had in him has been sucked out of him with a straw.
Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
we saved $50 million by spending more than $50 million. How to do that math for you? That's like somebody saying, I had a coupon to save $50 on a piece of clothing, so instead of that was $250, so now I got my jeans for $200 when I could have bought another pair of jeans for $50 without a coupon and spent $150 less. Oh, but I saved $50. That's that logic right there. I saved money, so therefore I saved money and spending more money than I would have had I just bought it normally.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear on the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it.
I should be able to have it. It was me. I made a decision. Let me have the money. I'll take it. That's probably part of the money that comes in from his from him suing the federal government himself, right? Yeah, exactly. That's MAGA math. But it's also like extreme couponers math too. Like I've seen those extreme couponing shows where they're like, "Oh, I bought something that I wasn't ever going to buy before, and I saved all this money, but I still spent money on something that I wasn't already going to buy. So how did you save money then? Because you still made you buy something? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense." Unless you're getting the items for free or actually getting a bonus on it or whatever, yeah, it's not free. Same thing here. They spent more than, I'm sure they spent more than $50 million on actually going through on this operation. And as such, oh, we saved $50 million. No, you didn't. Shut up.
But I want to be clear about.
Don't tell Trump about coupons. He'll invent, or he'll just say that the word was a brand new. It's a new Democrat hoax. Couponing is a new Democrat hoax.
One thing, Nicolás Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem.
When he tells you he's going to grab someone by the hoo-ha, he's going to grab somebody by the hoo-ha, and you better believe it, because that's what he does. He is a man of his word.
He means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take.
And as much as I hate what he does, and much as I feel shame for actually allowing him to follow through and helping him follow through with all he says that he does, he says what he says. Except when he says,
we are not nation building again.
So when he says that, he doesn't mean it. But when he says the other things, he does. Right? Make it make sense, Marco. Or Lil Marco, as Trump used to call you back when, he hated you and you didn't like him very much either. I mean, I guess that's a theme. Look at Ted Cruz.
This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences.
You better listen to Trump, because he's going to bring you peace, whether you like it or not. And it's going to be his peace, not your definition of peace. It's going to be his, which means he runs it.
And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed.
What was? The fact that Venezuela was not one of the top five, not one of the top drug exporting countries into the United States? Right? Because he said that's what he said they were, but they're not, because the facts show otherwise. But yeah, Donald Trump wants a piece of the action. He doesn't want peace. He wants a piece of the action. Exactly 250 kilo ohm.
There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think that the message here should be for the world. Look, the president.
Can you imagine, just imagine for a second, that Donald Trump and the Department of Justice gets him into court, and they put one of their idiot prosecutors in charge who couldn't even indict a ham sandwich, and they fail, and they get a not guilty verdict for Maduro. Can you imagine the egg on Donald Trump's face if that were to happen? And I'm saying if, thinking that it could very well be when. Can you just imagine how much egg on his face there will be if they can't even get a guilty plea after all of this? I mean, that would be pretty sad, right? Not that I want Maduro to, if any crimes that Maduro is guilty of, absolutely, I hope he's punished for it. But this isn't the president to do it, because this isn't the Department of Justice to do it, because I have no faith that this Department of Justice can go after actual criminals, because they don't give a shit about actual criminals. The only people that give a shit about is people who stand up to Trump.
The president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally one.
He doesn't look to pick fights, except for when he sends the military into all various sorts of cities and starts fights with governors of Democratic states and mayors of Democratic cities, and sends aircraft to go kill fishermen in boats or whatever, claiming that they're drug boats when there's no evidence that they're drug boats. He doesn't look for fights, except for when he does.
Wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play.
I mean, he does like to talk with anybody. I mean, he even met with frickin' Mamdani. So, I mean, he only did that because Mamdani won, and as such, he wants to kiss his ass because he likes to kiss the ass of powerful people.
Games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so
it doesn't matter if it's Monopoly or Clue or Sellers of Catan. Don't mess around with me. I am not one to be trifled with. I do like a trifle, especially the one on Friends with meat and sautéed meat with peas and onions.
I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba, Mr. President? Mr.
President.
Please. Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild it.
Who's running it now? It's going to be a group, and it's going to be run properly, but I'm not going to say who it is yet. It'll be a big secret. It'll be super secret.
The oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have.
It'll be flowing to no one's ever seen. No one's ever seen such oil flow.
But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure that...
Taken care of? In what way? In what version of taken care of, right?
People that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it.
So, yes, we are basically going to keep a peacekeeping force in Venezuela, is what he's saying. So, yes, we are going to be militarily involved in nation building. But what was it again?
We are not nation building again.
Liar.
But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity.
Josh, flow like aspirin-laden blood would have been a stronger statement. Well played, good sir.
We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot, and we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to.
If you see little Marco's mouth right there, he clearly had a issue with his being thirsty, and nobody's giving little Marco any water like he needs, because clearly he's getting a little dry mouth right there. So
to run the country right, it's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly.
Is judiciously his new does he have word of the day toilet paper? Did judiciously come up yet last night or something like that? But I mean, if he thinks that people seeking asylum are people who are coming from insane asylums, does he think that judiciously mean run by Jews? Like, I really want to know, because under anybody else, people be like, okay, whatever. But with Donald Trump, I'd have to wonder if he really believes that judiciously means run by Jews. And if fucking Stephen Miller shows up as the person who's in charge of running Venezuela, I'm going to laugh, because I will have been correct, right?
It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody.
Yeah, reimburse the people taken advantage of. We're going to go back. We're going to find all of the people who are the family members of the old Standard Oil robber barons, and we're going to take care of them. Not the people in Venezuela who maybe lost property last night because, property last night because, they were bombed. But, whatever.
Buddy, it's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. They stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it.
Yeah, we had a president that decided not to do anything about it, like you. Because you were president and you didn't do anything about it. 250 Kilom. I like your theory. Big Lee is misunderstood Big League. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
So there is no plan. Shouldn't you have had people already? Like, shouldn't you have already basically like, hey, we have people, and these are the people who are going to be. Shouldn't you have had that all planned out before launching the invasion? You supposedly had months of practice going through all of the steps. Let's do this. This is how we're going to, if we ever do invade Venezuela, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then when it's done, these are going to be the people that run the country until we get new leadership. I mean, again, he did say,
we are not nation building again.
He said that, but we are nation building again, so there we go. He's a liar. But he should have had somebody already installed, already ready to go, already, in the hopper, so to speak. They're like, all right, the arrest was successful. We now are in control of the country. Here's your new leadership for the temporary point of time or whatever, for at least the short term, which the short term is going to be years. But for the short term, these are going to be the people that are going to be running Venezuela until they figure out what's going on or whatever. But no, they didn't have anybody ready, because this administration likes to, take action before measuring twice, right?
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing...
Marco's like, look at Marco right there. Like, what are you saying? I'm the one you're sending me? I even joked about that, being that it was going to be Marco Rubio that was going to be running the country. I made that joke earlier. And now he's like, what? You were serious about that? Yeah. He's like, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into now?
Back. It's a dead, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
We were not a dead country a year and a half ago.
Country anywhere in the world.
Like no one's ever seen.
And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people.
And now with the people behind us over there, there's even more bad people there. We got rid of 2, and we're replacing it with 5. We do bad governance much better than they do bad governance.
Well, that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at...
i.e. the person who actually won the election that Maduro wouldn't let take power. They're not going to let her be the leader either because she's not going to kiss his ass like he wants her to.
And others. We have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be...
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well,
going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her.
Right, the opposition leader was picked by Maduro? That doesn't make any sense.
And she's essentially...
Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
Willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
MAGA doesn't have the same ring to it as MAGA, right? MAGA doesn't quite go well. Hey, Susie, also good to see you.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything.
Which reporter is that from? What is that, OAN or whatever? OANN?
Happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And, yeah, I think I stick by my...
Is that what a cocaine mill is, old Donnie boy? A cocaine mill, is that? No one could have ever figured that out, that a cocaine mill is a place where people manufacture cocaine. Thank you for explaining that to us, moron.
First statement, he's making cocaine, they're sending it into the United States. So
Tuna Fitico goes, MAGA looks like Muga. So I said, Muga Chaka, Muga, Muga, Muga Chaka, Muga. I can't fight this feeling deep inside of me. Donald Trump sings the hits. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know. This is singing it to Putin. Everything's all right. I'm hooked on a Putin. Da, 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 da. Anyway, let's continue.
He does have to watch his ass.
Well, how presidential. He does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President,
Or did he say has to wash his ass? I don't know.
did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We call members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was
What? This is not the type of mission you could do. We can't give the Congress what they need to know in order for them to do their jobs when, it's inconvenient for us to do it. That's pretty much what that means.
A trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But
I mean, nobody is saying that you had to say it within the next 15 days, but you could at least did that hot 8 or the top 8 or whatever it's called, the wonderful 8, whatever that 8 group of 8 people. Maybe it's just called the group of 8. I don't know. You didn't have to let them know 15 days before, although one would think that the people who are, in the House and Senate would understand that if they're getting classified information that they need to not share it, or otherwise they might risk their careers. So there's that. But yeah, they're not saying that you had to let them know 15 days ago, but you should have let them know at least, hours before maybe.
it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Plus, if I could add one thing,
We can't tell anybody. We can't tell anybody. There was a Fox and Friends thing that I did see that I need to go bring up. As one thing I forgot to look up before the show is a comment that he made to Fox and Friends, which is horrible. We'll get there in a second, unless he makes a similar comment now.
Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good.
Why would Congress leak that? And if they did that, then you would have you'd have reasons to take steps against them at that point. And not that I'm saying that I'm agreeing with actions taken by this administration at all, but if they leaked classified data, you signed the legislation that leaking classified data to people who shouldn't get classified data would be punishable as a felony for 5 years in prison. Of course, you did show classified information to people at Bedminster about invasion plans of Iran, and you didn't declassify it, and those people weren't able to see it, and yet you showed it. Which is to say, again, every conservative accusation is a confession, because every time they accuse the other people of doing things, it's because that's what they do, and he literally did just that. He literally leaked classified information to people who shouldn't have seen it, and should have gone to prison for that for 5 years, because that's the law that he signed into that's the bill that he signed into law, rather, when he was president during his last term. And he violated that own law like an idiot. But of course, for some reason, Merrick Garland didn't frickin' bring a case for the Bedminster files that was shared. And he maybe could have gotten a successful case done in that particular case, especially if he didn't dilly-dally and wait. It's another one of Garland's failures.
They leaked, General. I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. We went.
I mean, yeah, we staged a whole fleet there, didn't we? So it was we did kind of, show where our punch was going to land. So, but we couldn't tell Congress when we were going to act. Fuck off.
But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
Unless they're Russian hookers, at which point I definitely want leakers.
Oh my.
And what the hell is that? The 2 fingers in the air? Here are my 2 fingers. Trump's like, ooh, let's take this 2-finger guy next.
People to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his
He was taking a gigantic crap.
home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering, if Maduro pushed back or resisted, killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know what a safe place is? All steel. And he wasn't.
A safe house or a safe room? Is that what you're trying to talk about instead of a safe place? Like, I have the best words. No one has better words, right? He has the best words. They're better than anyone's words. No one has better words.
Able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. People were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it.
Yeah, a panic room is another good way to put it, yes. But I've heard it referred to as a safe room or whatever. But yeah, Jesus Christ.
Today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was...
It was a very strong door, powerful door.
Unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
One of our military members was like, here, my hand's in the door. I've stopped it from closing.
Go ahead, finish.
Going to be in the time being right now. Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
I can't leak that. If I leak that, then people will know. And I don't like leakers unless they're Russian hookers. Russian hookers.
The U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
No.
A mixed track record? A mixed track record, you say?
With
Did
me,
that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true.
I mean, you already literally just said in the other video that we played earlier on in the show that, you know, this.
We are not nation building again.
We've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani,
even if we didn't win, I'm going to say that we won, and then my idiot supporters are going to believe that we won, so we won.
Look at al-Baghdadi. You look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was...
Yeah, Angel from Canada, the person who turned in Maduro isn't going to get the reward. Trump hinted that during the... Yeah, he said it earlier. Earlier in the press conference, he said that he's not giving it to anybody. That don't let anybody else have that money, because he wants that money.
Incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If you didn't...
Essentially. Unless you ignore the fact that, you know, Israel's still attacking Hamas, and Hamas is still attacking Israel, and other people are still fighting in the Middle East altogether. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how is the play?
If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So,
And if I wasn't successful with Midnight Hammer, I wouldn't have Barron.
You've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had
so much winning. Nobody wins more than I do. I'm the greatest winner of all time, and I've made the rules, and I make it so that you know what winning is. Because if it's not my definition of winning, it's the wrong definition of winning. Even when I'm losing, I'm winning.
Had no losses. Yeah.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it.
We're going to hold it,
but it takes a period.
We're going to hold it as long as we can, indefinitely.
At a time, you know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous.
We can't build the infrastructure of America, mind you. We can't spend money doing that. Joe Biden has an infrastructure bill, and they fight that tooth and nail. But we can spend billions and billions and trillions of dollars rebuilding the infrastructure of Venezuela. Make that make sense for me, MAGA. Make that make sense.
You know, blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground.
I guess, yeah. I mean, look at the oil spill that took place at Deepwater Horizon. You could see how very well oil can be dangerous to take out of the ground. And that's why we want regulations on how you do that to protect the environment, to protect the birds and the whales that he claims the windmills kill.
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
Anyway, so yeah. You know, he cares about, you know, the birds and the whales when it comes to the windmills that he doesn't want to see, but he doesn't give a shit about the birds and the whales and any other marine life that might be suffering by oil wells that, you know, leak and explode and whatever.
Kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted.
I mean, we knew it was old because, as we said, Standard Oil built it in the 30s.
Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it, and we're going to take a lot of money out. So
wait, how long ago did he say it was?
And we're going to be replacing it, and we're going to take a lot of money.
Hold on.
It's old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago.
25 years ago. According to what I just literally said before on the show, the nationalized system that took place that was in the 70s. So we didn't build anything 25 years ago, according to that at least. So maybe if you have information to show I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. Absolutely. I will more than happily say I was wrong, Trump was right, when he said that we put infrastructure there 25 years ago. But it was Standard Oil that did it in the 1930s. So that's not 25 years ago. It's almost 100 years ago. Let's continue.
And we're going to be replacing it, and we're going to take a lot of money out so that...
Angel from Canada, Donnie Jr. volunteered to run the cocaine mills. There you go.
We can take care of the country, yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and...
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and drugs?
And Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they...
We'll be selling oil even though there's still an embargo, so you can't sell the oil. So basically he's admitting that he's going to be committing crimes, or more crimes than he's already committed. There you go.
Couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries.
So much oil, more oil than anyone's ever seen.
Many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying, Mr. President, are you...
Wait, so he's going to sell the oil to the people that they're have sanctions for selling it in the past? You're going to sell the oil to Iran? You're going to sell it to China? You're going to sell it to people who Venezuela had an embargo for not selling it? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Huh? Make it make sense.
Saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that...
She really wants to know whether or not it's going to actually be Marco Rubio and others behind you who are going to be running it from day one, but he won't let her ask that question. Yeah, Bricks is buying it, exactly.
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what.
No, I mean, that's a stupid comment. Yeah, he might have said that, but it doesn't mean it's going to be true. But yeah, despite official denial, several news reports from outlets like the Associated Press and the Washington Examiner, citing anonymous sources, claim that Russia had in fact been evacuating the families of diplomats as early as December 2025, viewing the situation as grim and amid escalating U.S. pressure and military activity near Venezuela. So yes, as it was said in chat by Angel from Canada, isn't it ironic how Putin evacuated his people out of Venezuela before it was invaded? Yeah, pretty much, because they knew, and of course they knew because Donald Trump kisses Putin's ass. Donald Trump likes to give Putin lots of information. That's one of the reasons why the 10/7 attacks happened, because he gave information on Israel's security to Russia, who gave it to Iran, who gave it to Hamas. So there you go. Let's continue.
What would have happened had we lost the election, the 2024 election? We suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go
try to get us back into prosperity after 4 years of your horribleness, yes, he's such a terrible person for wanting to save us from your errors.
through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
You just said that before. Did you forget that you said it just, a minute before? Do you have to repeat what you said just a minute ago? I mean, I know I like to kick dead horses sometimes, but still, I would never ever kick a dead horse.
We are not nation building again.
Sorry.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela? And
she got to ask the question. Yay, good for her.
Will you be sending in U.S. military
They're
troops
going
to
to be a
provide?
team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going
to... Again, Rubio's like, oh, shit. This is getting worse and worse for me by the hour.
To take over. I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right.
She doesn't have a choice, because we care about freedom, but not for other people. Only for us. And by us, I mean my administration and MAGA folks and not anybody else.
We're not going to just do this.
Exactly, Susie. He wants to say, quiet, piggy, because that's how he talks.
This with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it.
I mean, that's the thing. We can't just leave now because we made the mess, so we have to clean it up. We made an even bigger mess than it already was. So we have to do. Now we are required to make sure that it doesn't get fucked up anymore. Now, is Donald Trump and his administration capable of not fucking things up? I don't believe that. But still, the responsibility would be... Here's my theory. Donald Trump is going to fuck this up so much that the Democrats will take over Congress, we'll get a Democratic president in 2028, and it's going to be the responsibility of the person in charge of the country, the next Democratic president who'll get sworn in January 20th of 2029. It's going to be that person's responsibility to make sure that Trump's mess is now cleaned up, because that's what the Democrats often do. We have to clean up the mess that the Republicans make, and then, then they blame us for it anyway. So...
properly, we'll run it professionally, we'll have the greatest oil companies in the world going in and invest billions.
Yeah, that gives me so much faith that the oil companies are going to come in and run things and do things the right way, because there's never been a problem with the oil and how they drill and whatever, like Deepwater Horizon, etc. Right?
Billions and billions of dollars, and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also...
bullshit.
So I can't stress this strongly enough.
I think we only have about 11 minutes or so left of the audio from here. And that just assumes that this ends right when people stop talking. So we only have 11 more minutes to go through. Just letting you know.
The people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay, and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
And I want all of them to go back, according to Donald, right? I mean, he wants all of them to go back. That's his whole point. That's why he wants to, deport people. Yeah, they'll quit fucking up when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Exactly. Is that from Game of Thrones 2? From Khaleesi and Khal Drogo?
In the country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're very protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are.
If they do, we'll take them out.
We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Good question.
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to...
like a good neighbor, stay over there.
Surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that
we have tremendous energy in that country. Not they have, but we have. Exactly, because this is all about the oil. It wasn't about drugs. It wasn't about the getting rid of a president who was indicted by Trump's Department of Justice in the last term, right? It wasn't about that. It's always about seizing the oil under the guise of nation building that we weren't supposed to be doing, especially when Trump said,
"We are not nation building again."
Protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world, and we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba is an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good.
But how much oil does Cuba have, and does that mean that we're not going to be interested in them?
Good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think
that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump's line is going to be, they've suffered, so we're going to go in and we're going to end their suffering by taking over and causing them to suffer more under our leadership, because it's better they suffer under our leadership than their leadership, right? Yeah, Angela, we knew it wasn't about the drugs, especially when he pardoned that drug kingpin that was serving 45 years. Exactly. He did that five weeks ago, right? Was that 5 weeks ago?
Something we'll end up talking about, because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help.
Cuba's a failing nation. We were a failing nation. Venezuela. What nation isn't a failing nation? Russia? Where Big Hook said the ruble's going to collapse because of the banks failing?
The people of, it's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba. And living.
And we want to get them back to Cuba as well, because again, that's the other part. It's about the oil, but the other part is we're going to help liberate these countries so we can deport all of the people from those countries back to those countries so we can make America white again, because that's what Donald Trump means when he says make America great again. It's make America white again, and the America again that they're talking about is the Confederate States of America and not the United States of America. What the world needs to do now is sell off all their U.S. bonds. Ooh, that would suck. What the world needs now is Trump, sweet Trump. That's how he would sing it, at least.
In this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean,
I'm not ready to say it, but sure, I'll kiss your ass for a couple minutes more.
I gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. Suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men and
just like the United States is run by incompetent, senile men, especially the main one.
In some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no
Nazi? Did he say Nazi?
Economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
250 Kilo over on Twitch says Cuba is just fine. A friend went when Obama opened the travel restrictions and enjoyed it immensely.
Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
If it's sanctioned oil, and he's smiling right now because it's sanctioned, but Trump knows that he doesn't give a crap about the sanctions as long as he's getting the benefit from it. He'll absolutely sell sanctioned oil. Let's just play that again just to catch Trump's response from that.
Also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Let's listen to that again just to get the sanctioned comments again.
Ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously.
Let's see. Are they hinting about going after Cuba next? I mean, they'll find an excuse to do it. That's for damn sure.
Please, suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Putting up the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
Trump's like, yes, and then he's smiling. He's like, he knows it's full of shit too. He will absolutely sell what oil to Cuba if it means that he's going to put more money in his own pockets. Big Hook, how many Floridian Cubans will be deported before all is said and done? All of them, because that's what he wants. He wants to get rid of every single person of Latin American, Hispanic, whatever descent. If you have Hispanic ancestry, you're going to be deported back to where you came, back to where your family and your ancestors came from, even if you're an American citizen, probably, because they're going to try and denaturalize you, even if you're not even a naturalized citizen. If you're a natural-born citizen, they're going to still try and get you deported to Cuba because they know that the people who are helping him do all this crap are not going to ask questions, because he's trying to get rid of due process for everybody so he can get rid of everybody who is a Hispanic person, and then he'll work on all the other groups of people too, so he can make America white again, etc.
The answer is yes. Yes.
Is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President.
I don't care about her because she's not going to kiss my ass.
On Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the.
She doesn't have the support, even though she won the election. She doesn't have the support. Is that like him saying that whatchamacallit doesn't have the cards? Zelensky doesn't have the cards. Is that again? Imagine that. Let's see that press conference with her in the White House, and he'll be like, "You don't have the support." She'll be like, "I fucking won, you asshole."
respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be
Mr.
a
President,
leader.
is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because
It won't cost us anything. That's a load of shit. It absolutely will cost us.
Money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything. We will. Well, we want.
So I thought the money was supposed to go to the Venezuelans, not to us, to pay for our costs. So no, you lied again. Shocked, I say.
Safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago.
Again, this is all about the oil and not about the drugs.
A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries. And
then we're going to add tariffs to the oil that Venezuela sends here so we can make even more money off of it. And then I'm not going to believe that it's the American citizens who are paying for that oil tariff anyway, right? Is that how it's going to work too? So American people can pay for more of your blunders and mistakes that is presented as sound economic theory?
We also have to have energy, very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look.
You have to make energy that's real energy? What's fake energy? Please let me know what fake energy is. I would love to know. If anybody of you MAGA folks who speak Trumpese, if you could let me know what the hell fake energy is, let me know. Because I'm interested in finding out.
It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiary.
If this is over in a year, I will be shocked. Yeah, Angel from Canada. He's giving us a lot of evidence for the war crimes in 2029. Exactly.
Going to send in the U.S. military.
Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to
at
get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations.
I don't want to get into conversations because it could get me more in trouble. I learned better than to give information like that because then I can get in more legal trouble. And I like to loose lips sink ships.
Conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender.
Well, Karen, you're right. He may very well not last a year. It may very well be J.D. Vance inheriting. And please, if he's going to succumb to the blood clots, could you please succumb to the blood clots? This is a simple question that I have. If nature is going to take its time or whatever and actually getting things done to finish things off, can it please be done before the end of year 2? Before 2027, January 20th of 2027, could you please make sure it happens before then? Because that way, J.D. Vance would only be able to serve 6 years and not 10. So please make it happen before then, nature. This is a plea to nature, not a plea to any individual person. If just in case you're thinking I'm talking about illegalities, I'm not. I'm talking about natural causes taking place. Now, natural causes may take place because you eat one too many hamburgers, but still, natural causes. And if natural causes take place before January 20th of 2027, then Vance could only serve 6 years as president and not 10 years as president. Just keep that in mind, nature. Thank you. Anyway, let's continue.
And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What does that
have to do with your pardon?
I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened.
Had Biden pardoned him, because had Biden thought he was persecuted unfairly, the MAGA folks would have been like, see, Joe Biden is weak on drugs and weak on crime. But
to him. He's also a party member of the man who won.
Where's the atrocious at every game? I mean, he would be loving tonight, right?
So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great
He studied it. Yeah, I'm sure he studied it.
detail. I went to a lot of the people
Studying means I got money and I got paid off, and that's what he studied. He studied his bank account and saw that he made more money off of them, and as such, the pardon was signed. At least that's my theory.
standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
He wrote the letter to you, and he kissed your ass. We read that letter on the air, live on the air, and that's the first person who referred to him as sir. Remember when we were talking about the second person who called him sir was Hegseth? The first person who called him sir was Hernandez in the letter when he begged and pleaded for his pardon. And look, that letter is a masterclass in how to kiss Donald Trump's ass. But that's one of the reasons why Trump did it, is because he absolutely 100% kissed Donald Trump's ass big league or whatever it is.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision
boots in ground and boots in ground and boots in ground? Sorry.
The U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that?
Well, no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela. And
except when he says he's not, because we're taking the wealth. But then they're taking the wealth, but then we're taking the wealth. Get your story straight there, bucko. I mean, I guess he doesn't have a story. He doesn't even have people picked to run the damn country. He's not going to get the story straight on who's actually getting the money from the oil that's going to be sucked out of the ground.
People from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much.
So we're going to take the money. It's going to go to the Venezuelans, except for the money that doesn't go to the Venezuelans, which is going to go to us, and it's going to go to the billionaires here who already are rich, who need more money apparently, because they don't even care about trickle down right now. They don't care if the money trickles. They just want to make sure the money lands up in the pockets of the billionaires.
Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in
It's
which
about
case
Putin.
I'll go one word. It's about who?
It's about Putin, if you want.
About Putin. Well, that's
Okay.
always nice
You had
to
a phone.
talk about Putin.
You had a phone.
I love Putin. Nobody loves Putin more than me. Our love is very powerful. It's the most powerful love you've ever seen. It's even more powerful than my love for Melania.
Call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then,
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people.
If he would kill just the right amount of people, I would be fine with him. But he's killing too many people, and that's my problem. He needs to keep the killing down to a reasonable, in the tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, or whatever the number is. That's what it's ridiculous. Too many people. One person that Putin killed is too many people, dummy.
I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4.
That's what a kill him. The thrill is gone. Yeah, the honeymoon between Putin and Trump is over.
War. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours. and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1 quarter, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace, so I only give 1 quarter. I thought
and in case of Venezuela, we just blew them to pieces.
Easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine.
I mean, you said you would do it on day 1. It's well past day 1, idiot. It's day 300 something, idiot.
It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things.
Yeah, blame the victim. Blame the victim, right? Because what's happening between Putin and Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine has some blame because they were invaded. How dare they get invaded?
And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see?
He wants to stop he wants to stop the lives? Is that a Freudian slip? Jesus.
30,000 this last, it was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know,
I only want to see 5,000 troops dead. What?
I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of
So it's a swing of 7, 6 or 7. Sorry.
Munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30.
It's the last thing I care about. I'm going to bring it up, but it's the last thing I care about. I'm sure, yeah, whatever.
1,000 human beings. They come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing.
Yeah, you're so good at it, it's still going on in Ukraine.
Deals, I guess. It's all a deal.
Rubio's like, when is this going to be over so I can get out of this uncomfortableness and go vomit my brains out for all of the crap that I've just gotten myself into because I'm a moron for backing the person who attacked me as little Marco in the 2016 presidential campaign.
Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, you know, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened.
The only reason you're right about that is because it wouldn't have happened because you would have found other ways to make sure that Putin got power. You would have been, you know, appeasing Putin to make sure that he could have more power, just like Neville Chamberlain appeased Germany.
Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will
and it hasn't gotten any better.
Say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible.
So strong.
If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long.
If it was our people invading Ukraine instead of Russia doing it, we would have been over like this. Is that what he's trying to say? Oof.
Long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath. And we want.
I was waiting for him to say quagmire.
Wanted to get stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
Miller's like, there you go. Anyway, so there it is. There was Donald Trump's comments from today. I was not expecting to do a whole 3-hour show today, but we've done a 3-hour show pretty much. So there you go. Let me just see real quick if I can find this other Fox and Friends Trump from today. That's the press conference. It's on Fox News's website. Let's see. We're gonna skip the ads, so we don't have to hear the ads. And then Come on, let's get through this ad. It's slowly going. Let's see what Susie goes. It isn't over yet. It's over, Susie. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. Let's see about getting, if we can, I'm going to leave the volume off, and we're going to try and because I don't necessarily want to. I think I want this on YouTube so I can find it on the transcript. Trump, Fox, and Friends today. Let's see. We're going to open this up. We are going to see if there's a transcript available. There we go. Skip that. And then we're going to search for one word. Here we go.
We're at $18 trillion, and it's building factories and plants. It's doing things that no country has ever seen before.
Like nobody's ever seen. Again, he has to repeat the same line over and over and over again. But this is what exactly I wanted to see. Let's see.
But as far as last night is concerned, it was really genius. What they did is genius. And the Democrats, maybe they'll take a shot. You know, they'll take a shot. Oh, all they do is complain. They don't talk about. They should say, you know what? We did a great job. We're stopping drugs from coming into this country, and nobody's been able to do it.
Yeah, they're not stopping drugs from coming into the country. They're clearly not stopping drugs from entering the country, and we've explained why that was earlier in this show, because we explained that most of the drugs don't come from Venezuela, like he claimed that they did during his press conference. But let's go on to the one comment that I wanted to talk about here on this show.
Until we came along. But they should say, great job. They shouldn't say, oh, gee, maybe it's not constitutional. You know, the same old stuff that we've been hearing for years and years and years.
Because how dare the Democrats talk about the fact that they want Donald Trump and everybody else, for that matter, to follow the goddamn Constitution. And that's the part that I heard from the Fox and Friends interview, was him talking about, oh, the Democrats are just going to say it's unconstitutional. Well, yeah, because many of the things that you're doing are fucking unconstitutional, and as such, you should be stopped from doing them. But hey, what do I know? I'm just sitting here, you know, reading the Constitution, looking at what presidents do, and commenting on politics like we do at least 3 days a week. And this week it would have been 4 days a week, but, you know, we didn't do Wednesday because of New Year's Eve. So now you get a third episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Life That's Right. And it's a full episode, a full three. This is probably a longer episode than we did Monday or Wednesday. All because Donald Trump had to be a tyrant and, you know, go bomb people. And then look, again, he went after a tyrant. Tyrants going after tyrants, you simply, in a vacuum, you just sit there and eat your popcorn and watch the tyrants battle it out. But in reality, the actions that they took last night were just way too, I mean, they were bombing all over the place, putting civilian casualties civilians at risk of casualties in order to capture these two people. You know, it should have been more surgical. That's first and foremost. If you're going to do it, it should have been more surgical, and you should have at least gotten approval from Congress. If you're going to, even you didn't have to give them the exact plans that were going to go on, but you should have at least gotten approval to go and do a military action to arrest Maduro. And you didn't, because you don't like the law. This is a lawless administration who doesn't give a crap about the Constitution. And the comment he just made on Fox and Friends right there is, you know, proof in that pudding. So there you go. Thank you all very much for watching today's show. We're going to go ahead and end it today. We will be back at the regular time Monday, which it's after midnight on my time. So tomorrow, because tomorrow technically is Monday, because we're after midnight on Sunday, right? So on Monday evening, 8 p.m. Central, here on Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left. That's right. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Typically, I'm Liberal Dan Radio on many social media channels: TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, etc. Most of the places I'm Liberal Dan Radio there. If you want to support the show, the most important thing you can do, if you haven't done it yet, is to subscribe to the show, like this video, share this video, share other videos, especially the smaller ones. Help comment on videos, help the algorithm out. Al Gore needs more rhythm. There is an Al Gore needs more rhythm shirt available on the Liberal Dan Radio store. All of those t-shirts can be found in the video descriptions now, since I'm using Fourth Wall to actually sell the products. There's that. There's the Man of La MAGA shirt. There's the FDT that you can buy. You can Venmo Liberal Dan. You could buy me a cider. Go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button, or just go to buymeacoffee.com/Liberal Dan Radio. Make another one-time contribution. Be a Liberal Dan Radio patron. Patreon.com/Liberal Dan or Patreon.liberaldan.com. But again, the most important thing you can do right now is to watch videos, comment on them, share them, like them, respond to other people's comments, get the conversations going on those videos, because that way more people on YouTube are going to be notified that these videos are getting more and more popular, which will make other people see them in their feeds, which will then get them commenting on it. Lather, rinse, repeat. We hit my goal of getting at least to 3,000 by the end of this year. So again, thank you each and every one of you for coming in on this special episode, the special day, spending your Saturday night with me here on Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the Left, that's right. We will go out with a couple of songs as we usually do. Again, thank you, mods, Aaron and Jolie. Love you both. I wouldn't be able to do all this without your help. You're amazing, and I wish I could compensate you more than I already do. I'm going to chat with you maybe sometime either today or tomorrow, because Jolie had an idea of a shirt that she wanted. I want to make sure to get it right before sending that particular one out to her, because I want to make a special version for the mods if we do. So anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and then the patriarchy, and then I hope to see you back here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays here on Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the Left. That's right.
Gather round, everyone, and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, to say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronting with the truth, you'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he'll say it's all our faults. Trump piled debt, trillions tall, promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Go through crises, storms, and more. Called soldiers losers who died in war. Hire his kids to run DC. If it was Hunter, they'd scream treachery. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, the numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, Fox News would say I vague. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Love Kim Jong-un, he wrote love letters that take the guns first, lose those rights forever. Signed you spending bills with glee. Had Joe done that, it'd be tyranny. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they shall look today. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Kept secret files, countless untold. Said Putin's word was good as gold. Invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil. If Joe had done that, they'd all recoil. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards loud and clear. Rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason if Joe's the name is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap.
Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still. Just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods.
Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight.
Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
Not gonna be a baby incubator.
a golden incubator.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten, hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, an administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Of documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Downtown tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't need. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. A payout in secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. When someone makes a move of which we don't approve, who is it that always intervenes? You and NOASA have their place, I guess, but first, send the Marines. We'll send them all we've got, John Wayne and Randolph Scott. Remember those exciting fighting scenes, to the shores of Tripoli, but not to Mississippi. What do? We send the Marines. for might makes right. Until they've seen the light, they've got to be protected. All their rights respected till somebody we like can be elected. Members of the Corps all hate the thought of war. They'd rather kill them off by peaceful means. Stop calling it aggression. Ooh, we hate that expression. We only want the world to know that we support the status quo. They love us everywhere we go. So when in doubt, send Marines.